It's been a persistent and sometimes deadly problem on San Antonio streets, street takeovers. San Antonio police say this dangerous fad has been responsible for some incidents on the roads, but things can turn deadly when people decide to race on their own.
Since last year, we have seen a decrease in the takeovers. Unfortunately, street racing, speeding, these are all factors as to what we see with these tragic events.
TxDOT has pinpointed some of the street racing problem areas in the city. They include 281 from 1604 to Nakoma, 35 north from city limits to Binns-Engelman, 35 south from Highway 90 to Zarzamora, 410 west from Highway 151 to Bandera, 10 west from Camp Bullis to Wurzbach, and 1604 west from Huebner to Gold Canyon. As the head of the Public Safety Committee for the city, District 6 Councilwoman Melissa Cabella-Harvarda says she's been monitoring street racing in her area.
I'll continue to have conversations with the city and Chief McManus to see what more can be done. And then we're always looking at what other cities might be doing so this doesn't happen again.
But what can be done? Officers are called to a street racing scene after the fact, but what is being done to prevent it in the first place?
It really is finding out a way to disincentivize, yes, absolutely, the behavior. But also for me, it's kind of finding an outlet for that. If you enjoy racing your car, then let's take you to a track where it's safe and it's, as safe as it can be, and you're not putting innocent people in danger.
The councilwoman says she's open to ideas and considers using transportation partners like TxDOT or the San Antonio Mobility Coalition as outreach to help people understand they're potentially behind the wheel of a deadly weapon, a concept police say begins at home.
You have children, young adults that are driving vehicles. Sit down and talk to them, understanding that the decisions that we make on the road oftentimes affect more than just ourselves.
This is Prue Road. This is where that innocent 22-year-old driver was killed here at the 800th block. It's a two-lane street, so nowhere where anyone should be racing. Now, one of the drivers has been arrested on race, death, and manslaughter charges. The other driver, who had to be hospitalized, he will be arrested on race, death, and intoxication manslaughter charges.
Yeah, a lot of information. Unfortunately, we are learning that a man actually died as a result of being shot by a sheriff's deputy. We're finding out a little bit more details about what unfolded that ultimately led to the shooting. But what we know is it was a little after 8 o'clock in the morning that a deputy was inside of a convenience store on a break. Someone inside that store was complaining about the suspect, causing problems. So as he tried to engage him and talk to him, there was a short pursuit. He was told by his supervisor to stop that pursuit, which he did, but then an off-duty lieutenant, apparently an off-duty supervisor, saw what happened. And then apparently there were witnesses who saw this suspect kind of doing circles on Petranco, and out of fear for what was going on in the neighborhood with school buses, kids, this kind of thing, they re-engaged this suspect in his SUV. They made contact. There was some kind of a struggle, and after the suspect was stopped, apparently during this struggle he was shot at least one time on the left side of his body. Now, as they tried to help him, according to the sheriff, this suspect continued to fight them, and EMS was able to come. This is how long it took, kind of get him under control, but unfortunately he succumbed to his injuries. And so that's what the sheriff said he was doing, is that they were notifying the family, who they thought was the family of this suspect, who they believe may have had some mental health issues and had been in this neighborhood for some time. They're saying he's a 39-year-old man who is familiar to people in this neighborhood. So that's what they're looking into right now. The sheriff says that this deputy who opened fire with the one shot will be placed on administrative leave just for a few days, just to, kind of deal with what happened out here, and then would be put on administrative duty again, pending all of this investigation. They say they have a lot to unfold here, a lot of evidence, a lot of the body cam video, and a lot more video from some of the neighbors who saw some of the stuff unfold as it happened. They said some of it was actually uploaded to social media.
We also have Ring doorbell video from social media that describes that vehicle, describes that suspect trying to get into houses. So clearly we've got a gentleman here that has had some issues for some weeks. First responders, it appears, have tried to do the right thing, have done the right thing in incidents. But again, why is he even out? So we need to determine that for sure.
So that's what happened out here. A deputy opening fire on a 39-year-old suspect who ultimately died as a result of being shot one time in the side. The sheriff saying that he believes that this suspect may have been under the influence of something. They're still investigating all of that. But again, this deputy will be placed on administrative leave for a few days as they evaluate everything that unfolded, and then be placed back on administrative duty as they continue to investigate what happened out here.
The number of pregnant women we've had in the intensive care units in San Antonio has really skyrocketed.
As the CDC urges pregnant women to get vaccinated, one local hospital has seen an increase in the number of women infected with the virus. News 4 San Antonio's Morgan Burrell spoke to a local doctor about renewed urgency to get these patients vaccinated and shows you why some moms are pushing back.
We're kind of leaning towards Gianna.
She hasn't landed on a name quite yet, but Deborah Andrade knows one thing. Her sweet baby girl is a fighter.
Feeling like the worst flu you ever had, the chest tightness, the trouble breathing.
Just a few weeks ago, Deborah caught and recovered from COVID-19. She and her unborn baby are doing just fine now. Andrade admits she's been skeptical about getting her vaccine.
I'm just not willing to risk my child for that.
Since the beginning of August, we've seen a major surge in the number of pregnant women being admitted to University Hospital with COVID-19.
It's this type of skepticism that Dr. Patrick Ramsey with University Health works to overcome.
We know the vaccine is very safe. Over 100,000 pregnant women have received the vaccine, the COVID or the COVID-19 Pfizer vaccine or Moderna.
He says he agrees with the CDC issuing an urgent call to pregnant women to get vaccinated. He's seen firsthand women who are expecting, becoming hospitalized, and dying from COVID-19.
Those numbers are way out of proportion from what we should see for pregnant women needing care in the ICU.
Andrade, who never stayed in the ICU during her battle with COVID, says despite the CDC guidance, she's still on the fence, adding she'll likely get the shot after her sweet baby girl is born.
I'd rather wait until after I give birth and then decide if I should get it. And then, we can go from there.